shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in.
What if a big fish comes along and attacks me?
He thought.
I must find a new home soon.
Early February, Hermit crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right.
But it looks so plain,
thought Hermit crab. In March, Hermit crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water.
How beautiful you are,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to live on my house? It's so clean it needs you. I would,
whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit crab picked it up with its claw and put it on its shell. In April, Hermit crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the sea floor.
How handsome you are,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would,
signaled a sea star. Carefully, Hermit crab picked it up with its claw and put it on its house. In May, Hermit crab discovered some coral. Don't blink. They were hard, and they didn't really move.
How pretty you are,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to make my house more beautiful? I would,
creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on its shell. In June, Hermit crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris, and leaving a neat path behind them.
How tidy and hard-working you are,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to help clean my house? I would,
offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles.
How fierce you look,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would,
answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit crab picked it up with its claw and placed it near a shell. In August, Hermit crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed.
It's so dark here,
thought Hermit crab.
How big it is, how blue it is, how murky it is. I can't see. It's like nighttime,
cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water.
How bright you are,
said Hermit crab.
Would one of you be willing to light up my house? I would,
replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles.
How sturdy you are,
answered the pebble. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell.
Now my house is perfect,
cheered Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home, but he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebble.
They have been so good to me,
thought Hermit Crab.
They're like a family. How can I ever leave them?
In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by.
I have opened my shell,
she said.
But do you know of a place for me? I've outgrown my house too,
answered Hermit Crab.
I must move on. You're welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friend. I promise,
said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in.
Couldn't stay in that little shell forever,
said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he'd remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked